Welcome back to Under Oath. Normally we talk a lot of comedy, we talk a lot of fun stuff.
We do.
But I'm upset. I'm upset.
Why are you upset?
GD videos,
Okay.
Reels, TikToks.
Yeah.
I see something and it makes me furious because I knew 4 or 5 years ago when this law passed, this is what we'd be dealing with.
You fell down a wormhole, didn't you?
I knew it. I fell down the...
Here we go.
Here, I know the law.
Yeah,
okay?
Yes, you do.
In Florida,
Yeah.
seatbelts are now a primary offense, which means you could be pulled over for not wearing your seatbelt.
And please explain why you feel that may be a problem.
It used to be a secondary offense, which meant that they could ticket you for it, but they couldn't pull you over for it.
That's right.
So let's say you're speeding and they got there and they noticed you didn't have a seatbelt on. They go, okay, I'm also going to write you this ticket. But now it's seatbelts.
Yes.
So if I see you're not wearing a seat, I pass you at 55 miles an hour, I can hit my lights, turn around, pull you over for the seatbelt.
Correct.
And it's, oh, well, it's a safety issue.
Tell them what it is.
It's a ticket issue.
Okay.
It allows police officers to pull you over for a nonsense offense. And it always leads to more nonsense.
True indeed.
Okay?
And we're not saying that all cops who will
No.
stop you are bad.
It's just another tool they can use in their normal day.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest with you. If you have to pull somebody over because they have a seatbelt and that's the only thing you're doing, you ain't got enough stuff to do.
You are bored.
As a police officer, if you pull somebody over as a primary offense, you have nothing else to do. And I'm not talking about defund the police.
No.
What I am saying is there are too many police officers if that's what you're doing.
Got it.
Oh, I got to spend the next hour on a seatbelt infraction.
Got it.
You don't need that police officer.
You don't need them, huh?
No.
Yeah.
You do not need, if 1/8 of your day is a seatbelt,
Dang.
stop it.
That's rough.
Then you have too many police officers on the job.
Got it.
And it also opens yourself up to bad stuff. And I always said this, you pull them over. Oh, well, you didn't pull over fast enough. So now I got you for fleeing.
Yes.
Now let me check the car. So what about this seatbelt?
Tell us.
Put you in this position. And I'm watching this one where this guy gets pulled over and he doesn't pull over fast enough.
Okay. Talk about that though.
He said, I didn't feel comfortable. And I got pulled over about a month ago.
Okay.
And there was no clear place for me to pull over other than right on the side of the road, which would have put all of us in danger, put the police officer in danger and everything. And I drove an extra 200 yards to pull into a parking lot.
A well-lit parking lot. Yes.
Just so that he would be safe and I would be safe.
I'm with you on that.
And he didn't say anything. And I know it was longer than I would like because it felt like forever as I was driving.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing happened to this dude. He claimed I didn't feel comfortable at the time. He did pull over.
Yes.
He didn't have to get stopped. They didn't have to cut him off or anything.
And he did make the point, I don't know how legally valid this is, but he said, I didn't increase my speed. I just got to a place I felt comfortable. That's when I pulled over. I didn't flee. I didn't go, oh my gosh, there's a cop behind me. Let me get out of here.
Yeah.
He said,
now the officers felt so uncomfortable that he drew his weapon.
He did.
I said, but the guy basically had his hands out. There was no reason.
Yeah.
So they stop him. They get him out of the car. They handcuff him. 3 other police officers show up.
Yeah.
Of course. Now, for a seatbelt stop, 4 police officers. 4 effing police officers.
Well, here's what it is.
4.
When a cop
Not
stops
one.
you, it becomes a
4.
very philosophical
The
thing.
Pensacola Police Department, 4 police officers. So if you're the sheriff of this county and you ever say you need more police officers, I think you need less seatbelts.
Okay.
There are some cities where they need police officers. Obviously, in Pensacola, 4 police officers on the side of the road over a seatbelt infraction.
They take safety seriously there. They're not playing around.
Okay, I don't know who the Pensacola police sheriff is.
No.
Or the sheriff is.
Yeah.
Now, did the officer do exactly what he was supposed to do? Yes.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes.
Because it is a primary infraction. But here's what you need to tell your people. Don't use this. Don't waste your time. We have bigger crimes to look after. Because you're just going to put people who don't normally get arrested for anything in peril.
Correct.
This guy, he was a counselor. Going to go see a client.
Yes.
Now, should he have pulled over sooner? Probably.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have started in the first place if we weren't pulling people over for GD seatbelts. Oh, hold on. It's for his safety. And I don't want to say it was a black man in a Cadillac.
You want me to say it?
You say it.
It's a black dude. Here's the thing I love about the video. Yes, he got pulled over. Yes, the cop pulled him out with a gun. But then the 4 other officers are just standing watching.
There.
Like, is it one of those things like if the tree falls and there's not 4 cops to watch it, did it really happen? Like what?
And every one of them handled it exactly right. The police thought, well, we need backup.
Okay.
Okay, so he's there for what? Well, because it could have turned bad.
Well, he's handcuffed.
He's handcuffed, but it could have turned bad.
Yeah.
But it would not have happened in the first place.
Yeah.
The guy calls his supervisor, says, okay, drop the fleeing charge. But you can't search the vehicle.
That's the next part.
Why? There's a term called a Terry stop, okay? Constitution has already looked over it. If an officer feels he's in danger, he has a right to search the area around the person.
Okay.
Okay? This person is handcuffed outside the car. What are you looking for? If you release him, what do you think? He's going to run and get the gun and shoot you after you release him?
Pretty much.
No. You and I both know. Officer, it's not a safety issue. This dude had no reaction other than, hey, listen, I didn't feel safe. I didn't open a lip. He didn't get loud.
No,
he was respectful.
He was.
And you're going to claim you felt unsafe with 3 other officers next to you.
3 other ones. Yeah, that's crazy.
Stop it. Do I think it was abusive? Do I think it rose to the level of bad policing? No. It's just what they're allowed to do now.
Correct.
Like, let's make it even sillier. Let's say it was against the law to wear a pink T-shirt. And I arrested you for wearing a pink T-shirt. Yes, the law says I can do it. But certain cities have decided we are not going to go after this issue because it's a waste of our manpower.
Yeah.
If you, as the Pensacola sheriff, believe that 4 officers sitting on the side of the road for a seatbelt stop is worth your time, then maybe they need to be thinking about electing somebody else.
That's a lot of folks to be sitting there watching a seatbelt infraction. 4.
Oh, well, he was fleeing. Did you have to stop him? No, he stopped.
He stopped.
He eventually stopped.
Yeah.
And they were smart. They go, we're not going to overcharge him. We're not going to do these things. We'll give him his seatbelt ticket and send him on his way.
There you go.
But we can agree that this is fishing now. You don't need to do it.
Explain what fishing means to people who don't know.
Fishing means that you pull somebody over expecting something else. I'm not going to search this guy's car after I find out that, oh, yeah, his license is good, his registration is good, his insurance is good.
Yes.
And if I'm not arresting him for fleeing, then the only thing I have is a seatbelt charge, and I'm going to check the car after I make that decision.
You're trying to find something at that point.
They're going to go, hey, search the car. If you find drugs, it'll be better for us.
Which is a horrible thing.
Or a gun.
Yeah. But I got
Let's say it was, see, if they found drugs, you got to realize this. It has to be a weapon.
It has to be a weapon.
For a Terry stop, has to be something about your safety. So a knife, a gun, a club, or something. Not drugs. So you know, not drugs. Not bear bonds.
No.
He didn't rob Nakademi Plaza in Die Hard 7.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay. None of that.
Yeah.
So in the end, what we're dealing with, and if you're a police officer right now, come on, guys. I know you're told to do this, but be a little more choosy. Oh, I passed him at 55 and noticed he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Do you really want to stop somebody's day because the guy didn't get a seatbelt on at that time? I mean, it is absolutely so. Well, God forbid he got in an accident. You mean wigging out because he was getting pulled over?
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people? One thing I feel bad for police officers. It's dangerous.
It's a dangerous job.
Every stop could be a bad one.
Absolutely.
So let's be a little more choosy about our stops. Yes, a seatbelt is a primary offense, but could you imagine somehow you get shot over a seatbelt stop?
Because they felt some kind of way? Yeah.
Well, it's a reason to write a ticket. Would he have not written the ticket if it was just a seatbelt?
I don't think so.
Would you just gave him the warning and said, hey, listen.
Well, that's what you would think, right? Like, hey,
and
man.
Police officers give warnings all the time. And you guys are fantastic for doing it because you realize, why spend $300-400?
And I'm a guy that I've been given warnings. Thank you very much. Hey, man.
I love this. And if you're a police officer now, beg your people. Say, listen, let's not do this.
Don't abuse it.
You're putting my life in jeopardy over a seatbelt. Because it's not only a bad situation. How many police officers get hit on the side of the road?
People don't know that, but yeah, it's true.
Because this guy pulled over in a safer location, I pulled over because I know what happens. People are burning by you on their cell phones.
They are.
You're going to die. And they're going to go, well, we have another law. And the other law is this one. If I don't try to get over.
I've been pulled over for that.
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a police stop. It can be an emergency vehicle.
Exactly.
Or it could be a vehicle. Yeah, you have to get over.
By this artificial, stupid primary offense stop, you now put the officer's life in jeopardy. And you also set other people up for getting other tickets for not getting over fast enough.
Correct.
You're just opening the door to bad stuff. Don't do it. Now, the guy's suing.
He is.
For $200,000.
For pain and suffering.
Pain and suffering. Which is a mental anguish, all this other stuff. I've been pulled over a bunch of times.
So have I.
I've been handcuffed. It sucks.
I've never been handcuffed. I will say that.
Yeah, handcuff sucks.
No, I used to say for it and she let
you
me
know,
out.
I get it. And he's suing for $200,000 for a bad stop.
Yeah.
For all this stuff. It's not a bad stop.
No, it wasn't. It was not a bad stop.
And it's an interpretation. If this guy didn't pull over in time, I got him out. I was concerned. I thought he wasn't stopping for a reason.
But could we just talk about the fact that the reason he could do it that way when he stopped him was because he fled,
yes,
theoretically. So I don't know why you would be fleeing a cop.
For emergency situations, things like that.
Yeah, so as a cop.
Safety.
Yeah.
In this situation, he said, I didn't want the client I'm going to see me get
pulled over.
Oh, but he didn't say that till
the court trial.
Later.
Yeah, later.
Well, no, he said it in a
interview or something like that.
Interview later.
Yeah. But I got to give credit.
He actually said, I'm working. That's all he said. I'm working.
I'm working. But I got to give credit to the sergeant because when that cop did call the sergeant said, do not charge him with fleeing.
So they searched your car. So what are your damages if a police officer searches my car without? Now, normally what happens is whatever he finds can't be used.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Now, the cop did read him his Miranda rights in the beginning for the crime of fleeing.
Yes, he did.
He read it to him, and the guy said, well, I was working. Well, I could be working. That doesn't mean I don't have to stop my car.
For a cop. That's correct.
So, yes, he should have stopped a little earlier. If the safety issue was solely, I didn't want my client to see me get pulled over, that's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different thing. That's more my personal, how I
It feels a little personal. Now,
yeah.
if my thing was I wanted to go to a safe place, and not safe because I thought the cop was going to kill me.
No.
But safe because it allows everyone to pull over.
Yeah.
Because that's an argument people make now.
They do.
I don't feel safe. I'm not opening the door till you call your manager
or your sergeant. Yeah, call sergeant.
It's like, stop it. You don't have that right.
You have taught me this, and you've explained this many times to me. Even if you think the cop, and I'm not saying this cop did, if you think the cop's doing something bad, something illegal, do not get crazy. Do not get loud. Don't be belligerent. You wait. You just do everything he says, and you wait till later if you want to seek some kind of legal counsel.
And the great thing about body cam, I think everyone should have it. Because what it does is it shows the things you do right and things you need to work on. Now, the only thing wrong with this stop was the search. Everything else seemed perfect.
Yeah.
The final point I want to make. This law was a terrible law when it was passed. Show me a single statistic that it made life safer. Showed me where it didn't cause more good than bad. Because these stops are just bad. And wasting your officers' time. And your officers have time to do this. Then the officers are known as ticket guys. They're not police officers anymore. They're just writing tickets. And they're doing it because they're told to do it, not because they need to do it. And this is painful. The guy wasn't speeding. He wasn't hurting anybody. He was on his way to go see somebody. Uh-oh. Seatbelt.
Got to get him.
Seatbelt. Let's open the door to this. I know cities now that don't arrest you for marijuana.
Oh, yeah.
They won't arrest you for weed.
That's right.
But you can get pulled over for a seatbelt? If you're a sheriff in the state of Florida, don't push this. You're just creating bad situations that are dangerous for the people that get pulled over. They're dangerous for the police officer. It's a waste of time and not worth the money. Sitting next to me is my partner, Craig Lind. We take a lot of crap. A lot of internet trolls upset. They don't like they don't like when you tell them the law. They don't like to know certain things like facts and law.
We have trolls that don't like us? I can't imagine.
Yeah, they hate us.
Hate us?
They hate us because we give them the bad news.
Oh.
And then they go, what do you guys know?
Oh, they think we're just wrong in general?
Like I just saw this video. And it's a terrible video, and I'm going to take a little heat on it. And I don't care. Because anytime a lawyer does something in court that makes them look like a complete buffoon, I don't care whether you're Republican, you're Democrat, you're straight, you're gay, whatever.
You're gonna make fun of it?
Anytime they have to take you out in handcuffs and you say some crazy crap, that's on you. There was a family law case. It just so happens that one of the attorneys on the other side was trans. And the judge kept telling him to shut up. And here's the deal. When a judge tells you to shut up, What do you do?
You shut the hell up.
You shut up. Well, you understand I got rights. Okay.
No.
If you actually said that, if you heard me say that and you heard Craig say that and you go, I got rights. What do you guys know? I'm going to be straight with you. I want to be sympathetic. But you're one of those people who can't see past the truth. You're not allowed to tell a judge to shut up. A judge is allowed to tell you to shut up. And you know what you do? You shut up because they're in charge. It doesn't matter I feel right, I want to be right, or anything else like that. The judge says something, yes, sir. And if you have a problem with it, you appeal the ruling. That's the way that works. Well, this attorney was told to shut up conservatively 3 or 4 times. And if you watch that video, please look it up. The judge said you were supposed to file this form. And the attorney, well, I didn't know that. I had no idea. And the judge goes, well, I can't hear this until you fill out the form. Well, I didn't know that. Okay, well, I'm telling you, got to go downstairs and fill out the form. This attorney was absolutely wrong. Had no idea what he was talking about. And in fact, when he admitted to the judge, oh, I didn't know that. I hate looking like an idiot in front of a judge. And I sure as hell aren't going to argue past my stupidity. But he did.
Oh, really?
He did. Oh, come on. You remember that time where we found out that...
I remember a lot of times, Jeff. I remember standing next to you about 75 years ago when we were both public defenders.
When we
and
knew
I
nothing.
remember a particular judge, and she had a rule in her courtroom. And she said, if you are going to come up here and plea, you have to have the plea form filled out. And I don't know, 30, 40, 50 times she said, Mr. Kaufman, do you have the plea form filled out? No, Judge.
And you know what normally happened? We went through with the plea. See, it's really...
Now, you didn't tell her to shut up.
No.
You didn't take it that far, but you did try to not comply.
Oh, okay.
So I would think of all the people on the planet that would have any sympathy for this person, it would be you.
No, because here's the thing. This judge had a sign on their door.
Fill out this form.
No, you know the sign. She was in criminal court. She was a judge for criminal court. Okay. Now, certain judges are biased as hell in their criminal courts. We know that. But this one was married to the actual state attorney.
Doesn't matter. She was still impartial.
She was still impartial.
She was still impartial.
She was supported in her election
But she was
by
still
the
impartial.
state attorney.
Still
And she
impartial.
said, I'm absolutely impartial.
Absolutely impartial.
We knew she wasn't. And this was my way of revolting a little bit. This was my way of just kind of getting my way every once in a while because I didn't like it. But if she said to me, Mr. Kaufman, you need to be quiet, what would happen?
Oh, you'd be quiet.
I would be quiet.
You wouldn't disrespect her,
Yeah.
but literally
This
in
attorney
front of her face.
kept at it. And she kept saying, I'm going to hold you in contempt. She kept saying that to him. And this is not, it's not a great thing when your side is what your side is. And this person was trans. It was a man.
The attorney was trans.
The attorney was trans, so he's biological female. He's got a full beard, everything else like that. And the judges were using their pronouns. He, sir,
Really?
he's
Okay.
she was respecting his things, which I absolutely. They keep telling the guy to put his hands behind. Finally, she says, "You're under arrest," and the dude resists arrest. I mean, literally fights it, everything else. And they have 3 deputies
Oh,
doing it. And I want you to know when somebody steals something, you know what they call cultural appropriation?
uh-huh.
This trans man was screaming, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I'm going, oh my God, he's doing a George Floyd. And I was like, this is happening. And then he goes, I want a female officer.
Oh, really? And what would that purpose be?
This attorney to the trans community is the equivalent of Bernie Madoff to the Jewish community for me. I want to distance myself from this person.
You kind of give away the whole game, though, when you do something like that, right?
Nobody. I was
for the
going to.
rest
You
of your
can't do
life,
that,
no one's
dude.
going to take you seriously.
No, you can't do
Not
that.
that very many people were taking you seriously before.
But
At least the judge was.
No,
but
listen, everyone was taking this seriously, and I can understand.
except for the person.
There's dignity and respect. But to completely kill your community in one moment, I'm going, why? What were you thinking? And I'm sure afterwards he's going, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. And I felt, I was sitting, it was like watching a train wreck where you can't turn away from it. So if you're watching TV and you see all these things in the TV,
She got that lady took a little too much testosterone, I think, maybe, in trying to become a man, because it forced her to try and fight 3 officers. You might need to talk to your hormone doctor and pull that testosterone down.
If you've ever been in a courtroom and seen a bailiff come over to you like you're getting arrested, normally the first thing you do is apologize. I've had those moments where I was pushing it, and the judge got a little angry at me, and I knew, nope, stop it.
I think I've been next to you every time that's happened too.
Yeah,
Jeff, don't say
There's a difference between being passionate and putting yourself in a position where you are telling the court, I have no respect for you and you can't do anything.
Do you remember, Mr. Kaufman, are you saying this is a fraudulent document? Oof. I'm standing next to you going, don't say that. Don't say it's a fraudulent document. Don't say it.
Oh, okay.
Don't say it.
Okay. Realize this, a trial is not done by one person or 2 people. When you see the 3 people at the table, believe it or not, those 3 people didn't do the majority of the work. They have great paralegals and great assistants who are putting this stuff together for them. And you trust these people. And you can't go over everything they've ever done. For example, we were in a courtroom and I was trying to keep this piece of evidence out. And I had made it clear to my team, listen, don't put this evidence in. It's not fair. It's not good. It shouldn't come in. It absolutely shouldn't come in. And I told that to my associate who's working with me. I got this, Jeff. It's perfect. We're standing in a courtroom in Tennessee, and the judge goes, I said, Your Honor, this can't go in. He goes, Mr. Kaufman, you're the one asking it to be in. No, I'm not.
No, it was
this attorney.
You have this person listed on your witness list.
You supply the document.
That's only because if you're going to allow this witness to testify, which we think you shouldn't, but if you do, then we want to be able to call them for our purposes as well. But keep in mind, our argument is that you shouldn't allow this person. The judge did not appreciate that nuance at all.
And showed me a document that I signed, that I submitted the document. Did you sign this, Mr. Coffin? No. The moron who worked for me did it. And I remember standing there going, did this just happen? Did I just put in evidence that
no.
I to this day, I sit there and I'm kind of like going, wow. And every once in a while I get a call from somebody go, hey, this person used to work for you. They're applying for a job here. And I'm not allowed to say they suck.
They listed me, huh? That's surprising.
Oh, that was a mistake.
Yeah, you don't have to say this. Oh, you can just say, wow, that's surprising. I'm surprised that they would admit that they worked here. Huh.
Yeah. And you know what?
I don't really have anything to say, so just make your own decision.
Now, depending on whether I like the law office that they're planning to work for, oh, they're great.
Oh.
They're fantastic. In fact, you should make him run the place. He's that good. God, see, we've had so many. How many lawyers do you think have worked for us over the years? I mean, this firm, the last firm, it's got to be thousands. And I remember they were coming in and out. We were getting remember the one? The one goes, I'm not feeling it.
We had 4 sets.
Could you imagine having an attorney under you and he refuses to go to trial? He refuses to go to a hearing and we don't find out till he refuses to go. And then afterwards, you ask him why he didn't go. And he goes, yeah, I wasn't feeling it. That's the human beings that exist now. No matter doctors, lawyers, accountants, you're always going to have that one dude or dudette who's like, I'm not feeling it. And you can't be, when you have the responsibility of taking care of people, you always have to give them your best, even when they're not their best. Because we have a lot of people. Sometimes they're racist, sometimes they're prejudiced, sometimes they're mean, sometimes they're criminals. You don't pick your clients. You
sometimes
find this out afterwards.
They're anti-Semitic, Jeff, as you well know.
Yeah, that's always
tell a
great.
Story?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't tell. No, we were in trial, and our client, who we were killing ourselves for, at the end of the day, I was trying to make her feel good. At the end of the day, I was saying, hey, listen, I know this was a tough day. And I do that because it's very hard on them. However hard it's on me, I know it's 3 times on them because it's their future. And at the end of it, I told her everything else. And she made a comment that the other side, that they call this guy, the black Jew. And you were standing right next to me.
I don't believe she said
it. And I gave her a hug. I said, well, have a good, we'll see you in the morning. And
you handled it
You said to me, you go,
I couldn't believe
what did she say?
Well, I heard what she said. I said it incredulously. I heard her, but I just couldn't believe my own ears, you know?
Listen, you're not going to fix that. You're not going to fix people's basic nature. If the only thing they'll say is, oh, well, he's not like them. That's what racist people do. If they have a friend who's of that particular persuasion, religion, creed, color, whatever, they always say, well, you're not like them. Some of the most racist people in the world know people who are different religions, creed, color, whatever. But they always...
Why are you looking at me?
But their argument is always going to be the same. Well, you're not like them. Because they believe the stereotype or whatever myth is out there. So, yeah, like Bernie Madoff is all Jews are Bernie Madoff. Or Weinstein. Or Jeff, Epstein. The sad thing is I have a brother-in-law.
Epstein?
I had a brother-in-law named Dr. Jeff Epstein.
Really?
Fantastic doctor. Fantastic doctor. I can't imagine going, who's your doctor? Oh, that's Adolf Hitler. What?
I mean, Epstein.
What's his name? I'm sure there is an Adolf. What's the odds of people naming their kid Adolf?
Come on.
There's
no one that keeps in the last
name. Not
Hitler,
but Adolf.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of Adolfs.
Yeah, but come on.
But if you're,
why would you tag your kid with that?
If your family name is Hitler, I can't imagine you keeping the last name. Whatever. Are there any Hitlers left? I wonder if there's any people in the world.
They probably
named
spelled
Hitler.
No. It's spelled Hitler. Hitler. I guarantee there's some Hitlers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna do some research and we'll contact the guy named Adolf Hitler, and we'll say, Adolf, how you doing? I've never met an Adolf.
You never met an Adolf?
Never.
Huh.
I've never in my whole life. Look at this. The surname Hitler still exists today, though it's extremely rare and mostly unused in Germany. Could you imagine? Oh, I'm from France. It's okay. Today we have writer, director, producer, and actor Corbin Bernsen. Corbin, how are you doing?
I guess I'm a multi-hyphenate. Okay, I'm good, man. I am glorious today. I'm having a great day.
That's all the thing. I know the hardest thing about doing these jobs is not the acting. It's out there promoting. It's the hundreds of interviews that could just wear you out.
Well, if you don't like something, it's really horrible. But you've kind of, on one level, you've been paid to act, but you've also been paid to promote. Fortunately for the Yeti, it's exactly the opposite. I mean, this is something I'm so proud of, a wonderful film, and just so fits in with everything I'm doing in my life at this point. Truly the independent spirit, and doing things that really detail the human condition, if you will, and still fit into a nice genre like horror, for people that like the genre.
What I love about what you're doing is you're being able to choose what you want to do. You're now producing your own films and television shows. You're creating more than just doing somebody else's work, it's great. But being on the other end, I'm sure, just has so much different emotions attached to it.
Yeah, it does. I'll tell you what it is when you believe in something, as I do with this independent pilot that I created called Woodstockers that hopefully you'll hear more about in the future. It seems to be doing well and tracking. Man, my son directed it, and he helped me out with it, but he's got his own stuff going on. You're kind of on your own. You're in a lifeboat with one oar, and man, if you put that oar down, you're just going to drift. And it really, the independent spirit is really meant for younger people, because you just got to have a lot of it. You got to wake up every morning and say, I'm just going to push the rock 2 feet further up the hill. And, at some point, hopefully I'll reach the top. But I wake up for the fight. I wake up for the pieces of the puzzle to come together, and I enjoy it.
Cinema has changed so much. I mean, shots are so fast, more quick cuts. The differences are huge. And, now your son's in the business and you're going, can you give him advice? Does he take advice, or is he like, you try to stay away from that?
It's funny. He will listen to advice. He won't take it. and then behind my back, he'll take it. When we were working on this project together, one thing we were working on, I kept saying, I think you really need this shot. And he goes, I don't need that, Dad. We don't get to do it. We don't need that. That's you guys wanting a ton of shots and whatever. We don't do that. And somehow within the next 5 minutes, because he's talked to the DP or somebody, he says, okay, we're going to do that shot. We're going to do it a little differently, but we're going to do that shot. And so he listens. I think more than that, he's seeing a guy, his father at 71, not sitting his ass on a golf course and he sees me out there trying. I think he appreciates that. And, he's in LA right now. He bought his first home and he's fixing it up just like my wife and I have been doing for years. And so, but he's also knows so much more about film than I do. I mean, if like the Yeti, this wonderful film that we're talking about here, he'll know every film that those guys must have had in mind when they came up with it. He's a film historian, more than a buff. I mean, he just knows everything. But it's, I'll tell you something, to be in the indie world, which I love. By the way, I've been going to New York. I go see now off-Broadway shows.
Nice.
Off-Broadway shows. And I'll tell you, there's an indie theater movement that I didn't really know about.
Yeah.
A little, not even 99-seat theaters. I went to an office building to the 9th floor and saw one of the most incredible productions of a little show. And I thought, like, wow, this is great. So I'm an indie guy. And, I'm not sure if that's for lack of not having become an A+ movie star, or I just really dig it, or it all happens for a reason. But I'm happy.
Well, that's not really fair. I mean, you're like the Michael Caine of American actors. You've been in everything. I mean, I turn around, there you are again. I'm going, and I love seeing you. That's amazing.
I'm very look. Right now, I'm in 3 incredible shows. The Friends and Neighbors. There's a show on NBC that doesn't get talked much about that called The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins.
Yep.
And I just started doing The Lincoln Lawyer. So I'm working, but I'm sort of having to hop around a bit. So there's a part of me that would love to be. Part of me loves hopping around, exploring, meeting all these new groups. There's also a part that's having done series. It's nothing like being with a family and doing your, over and over and over and repeat. A little less airplane flying and hotel nights. But
it's hard because when you get to do what you love, it's work, but it's not work. It doesn't kill you. It makes you're happy at the end of the day and you feel grateful for it.
Yeah. No, and I'll tell you something. When I do a day's work and I can walk away, I never will say I nailed it or I got it. I knew, but I know when I walk away and know that I've left nothing on the table and I've, really done it. And sorry about that. Okay. Sorry about that.
Hey, listen, I'm just grateful to be talking to you. You've been so much a part of my life. Shake it around. We got great tech. We can fix it.
All right. It's popping up here. This is a call regarding a personal financial matter.
No, you need to get there's a piece of software called Cloak. You've got to download.
Tell me, because I can't get one more offer for a loan.
No, that's what I mean. I had to get this piece of software that blocks all the phone calls. I can't tell you how many people tell me I need to just sign my loan. 250,000, 80,000.
So what is that? We've approved your loan.
No. Super scam. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. No, I know it is, but it's, and it's,
you're like, I didn't file anything. That's
no, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to block that person.
And here's the thing.
Or you know what? I was thinking, here's a really wonderful movie. I was thinking, like, so you keep getting these calls and you find out you got some terminal disease, right? And you start going like, I'll take your loan. I'll take your loan. I'll take your loan. If you didn't have any family, imagine somebody who has no family and says, I'm going to take all the loans they want to give me now and go give away the money, do things you wanted to do. And of course, you find out the doctor made a mistake. And
Joe versus the volcano.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I love about this? My mother called me last night and I told her I was interviewing you, and she was a huge fan of Young and the Restless. So she watched your mother for years, and she said, make sure to tell him, and I've never done this, make sure to tell him how much I loved his mother in Young and the Restless.
That's great. I was telling somebody earlier that I I miss her. I mean, I miss her like anybody would
Yeah.
miss their mom. But there's just so much I like because I'm doing the thing that she was doing. So much I just want to share with her right now. You know. Uh, but then again, I know she's there because I got this little series I told you I created. It's at a festival coming up, and the air date that we get to show it is on May 8th, which is the day she died. And I thought, like, oh, she's up there organizing
Oh
stuff.
yeah. It's all
I'll be thinking
connected.
about her today. Um, and there's I don't know, the older I get, maybe you just want to lean into believing a little bit more of a world that exists that we're not so tuned into. But I look at that and I go, okay, that's interesting. May 8th, right? Okay, that makes sense. So I do get to share it with her, which is my point.
There you
I
go.
share that day with her, but I miss her. She guided me. She's, so many times I just want to say thank you. I also want to strangle her a little bit because she did tell me, and I was raised as Cherokee. This is side stories. Um, she was always we'd come from Cherokee Indian. So I was like, I named my company Team Cherokee. We're Cherokee. I look at my nose and I go like Cherokee. So and everything. And I go to New Mexico a lot. I sort of that feels my spirituality and
Yeah.
all that. And we my son does one of the 23andMe's or
Oh,
something. Back one day he goes, Dad, I got some really bad
oh
news.
my God.
You are they can't no trace of Cherokee, but you're Ashkenazi Jew. And we're like, okay, it's a good trade. I'm all right with that. And I said, Einstein, that's my good company. It still
There
works.
you
But
go.
the whole Cherokee thing was just blown out the window. And I still didn't believe it until I went to the Cherokee Nation to see if I could work with
Yep.
them on film because they've got a whole film thing going on in Oklahoma. And the first thing they said is, I doubt that you're Cherokee. I said, I'm Cherokee. My mother told me I'm Cherokee.
There you go.
And and within a day they came. I said, "You're not Cherokee." So there's times I want to go, "What?" But
Yep. Yep. Parents tell you some stuff. How many of your dogs died and went to farms? I mean,
yeah, right.
you got to just go with it. I was actually at Comic-Con I think it was like about 15 years ago, and one of the producers of Psych came up to me, and he told me he was one of the writers, producers, and everything else like that. I said, I love your show, but there's a huge flaw. And he said to me, what was that? I said, well, Corbin plays his character, and it was like the first or second season, and you made him the villain. In the first couple seasons, you're the villain. I said, a father is proud of his son. He taught him how to do all this stuff. Can't he just from a distance smile every once in a while, something that his son did? And he looked at me, he goes, that's a good idea. And like at the end of the season, there's a scene where you look back after he solved this murder and you kind of like gave him the nod. And I felt like they needed to develop your character into that. And it wound up by the time it moved that way.
It did go that way. It's funny when you're developing a TV series, you've got to spend a lot of landscape time making sure everybody knows who everybody is. And if I'm the antagonist to Sean, you can't show too much I'm proud of you at the beginning. And
Yeah.
I would dare say even a season. There's one of my favorite episodes of that show was where I give him my Swiss Army knife and I kind of hand it over. And I always played it a little bit where I knew Henry was proud of Sean, but I could not show it to him because he's such a screw up that if I tell him that, he'll run with it. So I always had to hold back. And, and I think that's why it never quite got too villainous.
No.
There was always a little bit of, you could detect Henry might be a little bit proud, but that was a great note. And we did get there, eventually. But if we were to go back now 20 years later and do another episode of it, I don't think you'd still see me patting him on the back. I would be my own father. I have a brother, and he is a wonderful athlete and great in school. And I was always the guy who's trying really hard. But my father would throw accolades and accolades on my brother, younger brother. By the time I got to LA Law, where he was very proud, his reaction was like, "Is that all? Now what are you going to do from this?" It was like, "Dad, I'm here. I'm having it. I'm doing it." And he he never threw he never shared too much. I know he was
Yeah.
proud of me, but he would never really show it. And I don't know if it wasn't to just keep me on my feet, on my toes.
Fathers and sons. The hard thing is we can't be friends. We're not friends. We got to teach her to
Horrible, man.
survive
I have
without
4
us.
sons. That drives me nuts.
I know it's
I want to
hard.
be friends with my sons. I want to be friends so badly, you know. And I know I can't. And I know they think I'm goofy, and I know. And the hard dynamics. I have 4 sons and I have a wonderful wife. Boys love their mothers.
Oh yeah.
They love their mother, but their dad, it's just like, oh God, man,
Ugh.
it's a struggle, but but there ain't nothing like it.
Nope.
I'm proud of my boys. They don't have to be proud of me, but you know what?
We're not home team. Moms are home team. You know,
Yeah.
we're the ones who we got to deliver the bad news. We got to be, even when you succeed, we got to go, okay, I know you succeeded, but there could be bad stuff. I mean,
Right.
it's preparation, you know, that's just what it is. Now, you had
Yeah.
mentioned that you had seen some independent theater. Now, I've seen everything in your credentials. You know, how badly, if I give you a choice between a Tony or an Emmy, which one would you be more proud of?
Tony.
Oof. Yeah, that's the deal, right?
Well, no, you know what it is? It's a little part of the aspirational part of me. Emmy would be great. First of all, I don't get award. I got nominated for 2 Emmys with LA Law and Golden Globes and all that. I didn't win. I don't win stuff. I didn't win sports things. In college, in high school football, we won our division, our league, and I got the guy who tries 110% award that was made up by our coach. Um, I don't win stuff. And it's part of what drives me. But there's something about the Tony only means that I get to go and do theater, which I long to do. And after all these years, I don't know my way back in, but it might be through independent theater. Not, I'd love to go do you feel like you're an actor. You haven't really an actor if you haven't done Broadway. I've done theater,
Yeah.
but I haven't done Broadway. But, that's a hard nut to crack. If you're on a big TV show now, you can find your way in. If you're the lead, they just want to put an ass in a seat. But independent theater, I'm very interested in, both in writing and performing. So who knows, God, give me another 20, I can get it all in.
Well, this is the selfless question. I always ask this. My daughter is 20 years old. She's in a theater program. And I always ask people on your level, what do you think the most important thing that you can do to succeed as an actor?
Train. My mother, going back to my mom, train. Because it is a life, and I don't care how big you are, with the exception of maybe Tom Cruise, who will have his day when he's 75 years old and he ain't doing everything he can do. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be highs and lows. And it's, a normal career is kind of this trajectory that gets bigger, and you retire. And you own the end of it. With our career, it's up and down. It's up. I'm here. I'm 71. I'm doing all these things right now. I could get a big series. I could get a big movie. I can get an Academy Award tomorrow. And then I could be nobody again, and the training, it just keeps teaching you the appreciation for that thing you do. It just keeps you just appreciate what you do, and you learn to love the craft. So even if I'm doing an improvisation, even talking to you,
Yep.
I would find this exciting. Just talking about what we do. Am I performing? Yeah, we both are
A little bit. A little bit.
But I enjoy it and I appreciate it because is this an Academy Award movie you and I are doing? No, we're doing but I appreciate it because of my knowledge of all the pieces that go into it. So, or that led us, you and I, to this moment.
Well, with about 45 seconds left, I want to ask you, the Yeti, where is it going to be streaming? Because most people, I love movies, I go to movies, but a lot of people, sitting there, they'd rather see it on TV. So where are they going to be able to see the Yeti next?
I guess all platforms.
Okay.
I guess if you Google it, you'll be able to find. I don't know every platform it's on. These days, it's
Yep.
it's out everywhere. I mean, you can go pretty much get everything, whether you're willing to pay for it or not, or part of a streaming service. But it's available. And in these days, it just means, like me as an actor,
Yep.
it's available.
And where can I go to find your next projects and everything else like that?
Well, if you go look at IMDb, you'll see stuff that's coming up. And just keep your ear out for a thing called Woodstockers. 2 guys who went to Woodstock and never left. Me and Stephen Tobolowsky. And hopefully I can keep pushing that rock up the hill.
Well, hey, it was great talking to you, and can't tell you, keep killing it so I can keep seeing you.
You got it, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Say hi to Rick for me.
You got it. Well, that wraps up today's show. I'm attorney Jeff Corbin. Thanks for joining us. Special thanks to my 2 co-hosts, my good friend, professional comedian James John, and my law partner, Craig Lind. This show is sponsored by Corbin Lind. If you or someone you know has been in an accident, contact us at 407-500-JEFF or 407-500-5333 for a free consultation, or visit us at whenyouneedus.com.